What is up, guys? It is One Shot, and you guys have been asking me how I have my controller set up and configured for my Elite controller. So what I'm going to do is show you guys how I have this set up and just go through the motions so you guys know how to do it yourself. So this is the Xbox Accessories app that you have to download, or it gets downloaded. It may already be downloaded with new updates. So you go into the app after you've connected your controller and done all the pre-setup. That's the instructions are in the box. So you just go to configure, and what these configures are is we have, of course, a bunch of presets. You know, there's a crap ton of them, but there is also 250 profiles that can be saved on here. I only have 2. I only need 2. So what I have today to show you is just how I have mine set up. So we're gonna go to COD and have it. This is the button mapping. So how you do your button mapping is very simple. So let's just say I want A to be on B. So it says choose a button to map, and then choose a button to map it to. To map a button quickly, press and hold the button. So I'm gonna do B, and I want to map button B to button A. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna change the B to the A button. So we basically, how this is all set up. So your top button is the button that you are mapping something to. And then your bottom one, where you see it's highlighted on my screen, is the button that you're mapping to the top button. So A is now set on button B, and now that's going to also give you 2 A buttons, so you can map multiple buttons and have those buttons in multiple parts of the controller. I'm just going to go back through and set this back to normal. Come on. Nope, that's not how I want this. And I want button B to be button B. There we go. So we got that all situated. And when it comes to the sticks and the invert access, like, I don't do any of that. I don't worry about any of that. I don't swap my triggers or anything like that. I like to have the standard setup on my controller. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to my left stick. So my left stick I have on instant, and it works really good for Call of Duty FPS, just because what's going to happen is as soon as I move it, it's literally going to go right over to where I need it to do. So when you're strafing, it allows it to strafe with no delay, no kind of like slow movements or anything like that. It just instantly does it as quick as you move it over. Now, what you're going to see here is you're going to see a slider bar. Now what this slider bar does is it just changes your rings. And what those rings do is the point in time where it changes. So if you look here, the blue is the current, the gray is what it was set at before, or the default. As you can see right here with it all the way down, it's not a lot of instant, it's just ahead a very little bit, and then eventually it meets up to be perfect as you get to the outside. Now, how I like to have mine is all the way up, so it's instant real fast. So as you can see, the blue moves so quick to that first ring, to the second ring, and then to the last one. Now, what that does is that just shows you where you're going to be at currently at this point. So when the blue, like I said, is the first, gray is the second. So you're going to see how much quicker that moves in that process for instant. And that's just what I have set up on this first one for the left joystick. So now I'm going to go over to my right. Now with right, I have delay. The reason why I really like delay is because what delay does is it allows it to move a little bit slower, kind of like you have a control freak on without that added height. And with these controllers, you don't have to have a control freak, but you can use one if you would like. Personally, I use the medium height dome sticks. I find that the dome sticks give me a little bit more accuracy at longer range. And I just have mine set a little bit less than half. And what that does is, as you can see, normally with a normal default, what it's going to do is that gray is going to be so much quicker, so it's going to move so much faster. As you can see with the blue, what the blue does is it, being that it is before the gray, that is where you're currently at, it moves a lot slower to that first ring. Now, the great thing about having the delay is it'll help you with those longer ranges, longer lines of sight, as well as the fact that, like, let's say you want to spin around quick, so you want to have it on, like, say, a 14 sensitivity. It's going to practically feel like a 7 or a 10 maybe in sensitivity versus that 14. So it allows you to play at that higher sensitivity without having that crazy aim to have to get used to. And you use your D-pad to adjust and scroll through all of those. The triggers, personally, what I have my trigger set at is 0 and 1. If you look at the middle of the screen where you see the controller itself, you're going to see a blue circle pop up. Now what that is the where the trigger itself is at. So as you can see here, like I can literally spam it and it's just going to instantly react and deactivate, activate and deactivate. So basically what I do here, the reason why I do that is so where as soon as I see a guy, it instantly hits, it instantly starts to fire. There's no delay, there's no nothing. And if I'm shooting like a pistol, it's going to allow me to shoot that pistol faster. Now on the back of your controller, you do have here trigger locks. I'm going to take those off real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 1 all the way down to 100. So this is what you see with those little slashes is the full range of motion of this trigger. So as you can see, without the here trigger stops, it goes all the way down to the bottom. So with these here trigger stops, what that's going to do is it's going to prevent it from going all the way down. As you can see, it only goes about 3/4 of the way. That's going to allow you, especially with your with the fire button, it's going to allow you to spam that trigger so much quicker to get those shots off with a semi-automatic or a burst weapon of sorts. Personally, I don't like mine like this because I want to be able to quickly just hit. That's why I set mine at 0 and 1. Now, if 0 and 1 you feel like you're misfiring or accidentally ADSing, what I would suggest is go ahead, just set it to like 5 and 10. That's going to give you a little bit more range, a little bit more room so you're not accidentally misfiring or giving away your position. And what this, as you can see right here, there is this thing in the center called mirror left and right. So basically what this does, if I have it all the way down here to 100, what it's going to do is it's going to, as soon as I hit that, that's instantly going to bring it up to your 0 and 1. So that both of them are the exact same. Now that's totally up to you guys. Whatever you guys want to do with it, you know, it's all a matter of preference and what you guys prefer. That's pretty much it for that. Vibrations is pretty standard, straightforward. Vibrations, you know, you got them in the triggers and you got them in your grips. I leave the vibrations all the way up. I like the way it feels in the game to help respond and know what you're kind of doing. With your triggers itself, like you will notice a difference if you're shooting an SMG or an AR. It'll almost vibrate to every bullet that you fire. So it'll feel a little bit different. Just kind of helps immerse you into the game a little bit more. And as you can see, here on the back side of the controller, those, if you look at the little green buttons up by your triggers, those are your hair trigger locks. The top where you see it is where it's set up completely all the way, so you trigger all the way down. Now if you move it down to the bottom, it's going to stop at that halfway or 3/4 way, as you can see in the pictogram right there. Now the Xbox bright button, you know, that's all about preference too, what you guys like. I had mine all the way bright, but I'm wondering if I turn it down, if it's going to help reduce the amount of, well, help increase the amount of time the controller doesn't lose its battery. Because like when I'm gaming all day long for a couple days, like it dies pretty quick, and I'm hoping that this is going to help correct that. Lastly, you know, you can obviously restore the defaults right here. You know, it's completely up to you guys. But as you guys can see on the back of the controller, or right here in the pictogram, you can see down at the bottom it says A, X, Y, and B. Those are the 4 paddles that you have on the back of your controller. If you pick one of these up, I suggest that you guys use these paddles. They will help you with jumping, aiming, sprinting, like not sprinting, but just in general, like with the game, to react so much quicker. How I have them set up is if you look at your 4 buttons, your A, X, Y, and B, I literally have them set up that way. So my bottom left is A, my top left is X, my top right is Y, and my bottom is B. So that just allows you to be able to slide. You don't have to ever take your fingers off the joysticks to use any part of this controller. So you always can aim when you're jumping, when you're sliding, when you're boosting. You know, no matter what you do, you're always going to be able to do that. And of course, you can set it up however you like. Some people like to have a melee on the back of the paddle, you know, whatever, what have you. So it's completely up to you and whatever you guys decide. But I mean, that's pretty much it with these controllers. That's how I got mine set up. You know, that's what I prefer. That's how I like to play. You know, it's all about preference, but I know a lot of you guys were asking me how to set it up, so I just figured I'd show you guys and let you guys know how it goes. So this has been One Shot, and I hope you get that this was interesting and informative for you guys. If you guys have any questions, comment below and ask, and I'll make sure I respond to those. And if you guys enjoyed this video and if it's gonna help you, you know, just hit that like button. It's a big support, you know, gets us on the front of those pages for suggested videos. It helps to grow the channel a little bit. It's just such a great help to me and to you guys to be able to get us out there. So just I hope it worked for you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys.